Drum roll, please. We officially cracked a major milestone, a huge record, something to be really proud of. Let's get some excitement going. We did $1.5 million in service downline revenue last week. That is insane. If you think about that, that is absolutely incredible. Our little group of 200 sales reps did $1.5 million in one-year pest control contracts. It's incredible. We have never in my entire history of Aptiv done $1.5 million in pest control revenue. That beats our best week last year. That crushes our best week the year before that. And it certainly smokes our best week the year before that. It's an all-time record. And the crazy part is it's the first week of May. So every Monday I have a partners meeting. And in that meeting, part of what we do is we review stats and we review projections and we review like how we're doing and the direction we're going and things like that. My goal for our partnership this summer was to do over $30 million in total revenue. We just did $1.5 million last week. So just so you guys understand how this works, the projection was that we could do like 800,000 last week. We did almost double that. We smoked it. We blew it out of the water. So give yourselves a pat on the back. Be really, really proud and be excited. On this same projection, I should have screenshotted it. I'll send it out sometime. But you see us ramp up consistently for the next 6 or 7 weeks. And so far we've done that. We've gotten better every single week. And the last couple weeks, we've really taken big steps up. But over the next 6 or 7 weeks, you're going to see our numbers continue to improve. And if we stay on the same trajectory that we are, it's realistic that we could do $2 million in a week. Imagine that. Crazy. I didn't know it was possible until I started working with this group, until I saw the efforts of all of our team leaders, all of our rookies knocking late hours, our contract value going up, our services sales ratio improving. We're doing a lot of things right. We're also leaving quite a bit of meat on the bone in a few areas, so I'm excited to keep improving and just genuinely so grateful and so proud of each of you guys. $1.5 million in total revenue on the week is huge. We had a $995 ACV last week. I've been harping on our average contract value for a couple months now, trying, begging, pleading, prodding, trying to get us over $1,000. We were within $5 this last week. Now, something crazy happened, okay? And it's not something that I'm necessarily proud of, but it's something that I'm learning from. Our basic percentage went up, and our average contract value went up. So what does that tell me? It tells me that in a lot of our markets, you guys are selling more accounts, but some of those accounts you're defaulting back to a more expensive basic rather than a cheaper pro. Be careful with that and always try and sling a cheaper pro rather than a more expensive basic. Because you're getting 2 extra services in there, even if you have to go down to the very, very cheapest pro, it will still be better for you, better for the customer, better for your retention to sell them the cheapest pro possible, okay? Pro is always better than basic. I'm working with our head of strategy, his name's Dane, to potentially, don't hold me to this, it might not happen, but potentially lock in our basic percentage lower, but also in turn give us slightly lower floors on the pro, because it's that much better for us as sales reps. And I think if we can sell more pros and less basics, even if they're cheaper pros, we will smash through that 1,000 ACV that has been our white whale, our Moby Dick for the last couple months. I can't believe how close we got. It gets me really excited, and I'm genuinely proud of each of you guys. So I'm going to share some stats. I'm going to talk about my travels the last couple weeks and visiting the teams and some things that I learned from there, and then go over some goals and other things that I have for our group. Last week we had 220 reps with a serviced account, 1.5 million in serviced ACV, 995 ACV. We had 82.6 sales to service and 23.9 same days. So I lament to inform you guys, we were like the second lowest on sales to service ratio and the lowest on overall same days. Gah! It's crazy that we did as well as we did while not servicing as many accounts as we should. Now, that sales to service isn't actually that bad. It's actually pretty good when you take into consideration that our same day percentage is as low as it is. I have a ton more service pros starting for our partnership this week. I know Cleveland has like 5 starting. I know Richmond had their own starting today. I know Alexandria has a couple that are starting. I know some of the St. Louis guys are moving up to St. Louis. We have a lot of good things happening in our same days and our sales to service that should really bump us up this next week. But guys, we improve our sales to service by 5 or 6%, which is what we should be doing. We improve our same days by 30%. That in and of itself will improve our sales to service. All of a sudden, we did $1.7 million last week. Insane. So that is priority number one for me this week: improve our sales to service ratio, improve our same days. I'm setting up meetings with a bunch of the operations managers. I'm going through it with Chase, the president of sales, who's over that stuff. We're getting dialed. I promise. You have my word. Our RPR last week, 6,800. That's the highest it's been. Congratulations, guys. 6,800 means our average rep on the course of the summer will do over $100,000 in revenue. So that's something to be proud of. That said, we're going to keep bumping that number up even higher. I think we can get up to 7,500 within the next couple weeks. Last daily knock, 8:34 p.m. We should continue to see that get later and later as the days are getting longer and longer leading up to the summer solstice in June. So continue to push later. The best time to sell is late at night. In fact, our average rep sold $245 in revenue, which means they sold like 1 or 2 accounts after 8 p.m. this week. That's daily, 245 daily revenue. So we are crushing it after 8 p.m., but there's still more meat on the bone. Our top rep this week after 8 p.m. was Mateo in Richmond. You guys probably saw Mateo. He sold almost $14,000 in revenue on 11 accounts last Friday. Insane. Mateo's a sophomore. He's a super cool kid, one of my favorite people to work with, and he had his biggest day ever by a mile. But the craziest thing about what Mateo did last week was that he sold $2,000 in revenue every single day on average after 8 p.m. That means after 8 p.m. last week, Mateo had over $10,000 in total revenue. Mateo beat some of you on the week just with his after 8 revenue. He crushed it. Almost half of his sales came after 8 p.m. So he pushed late. We as a partnership pushed really late, but Mateo led with almost 10x what our average rep did after 8 p.m. And his DMs reflect that as well. He was knocking later, he was talking to more people, and he was seeing huge results. So if the numbers are not where you want them to be yet, push later. Push, more at all times, but especially later. That is your best time of day to sell. 43.4 DMs per day. That's okay. We've been kind of stagnant there for a few weeks. We had some teams moving. We had some people with storms and things like that always affect our DMs. But I really want to see those numbers creep up to over 50. You can see if this screenshot's still up, you can see that Prime had 51.8 DMs per day per rep. They're knocking about 30 minutes longer per day, and as a result, they're seeing more success with their DMs per day and more sales. So push. If you're not selling 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts, you especially should be over 50 DMs a day because you're not spending as much time with people. And I want to see the effort. That's where you'll see your numbers ramp up. That's where you'll see improvements. It's worth it. DMs per sale, 27.7. So our average rep is talking to 28 decision makers for every sale he gets. That means if you talk to 56 decision makers a day, that's 2 sales a day. Basics, 19%. Again, we saw that creep up last week, which tells me we're pushing harder, which is good, but on those harder sales, we're defaulting to a basic as our Hail Mary. Instead of defaulting to a basic, default to a smart quarterly. Default to the cheapest pro you can do, always over a basic. It will be worth it. I want to see that back under 15%. I'd like to see it as low as like 12 or even 10%. And then our average initial, 76. I'll give a shout out on this with the teams, but San Diego crossed over $100 on their average initial this week. Nice work, San Diego. Give it up for that. Okay, some shout outs to our top reps. Let's do top rookies first. Jack in Cleveland too. Jack won our incentive this week with $18,068 in service CV. So Jack won a $250 Sneak Easy gift card for some shoes for doing over $17,500, and he won a $500 bonus from myself for crossing that threshold and being our top rookie. Nice work, Jack. You guys will also know this, but Jack, as of this morning, was at $99,000 in service revenue, so he'll cross 100K probably today. Congratulations, Jack, on being our first rookie to do that. Absolutely incredible. 1,063 ACV. Jack knows this. Where he needs to work on it is sales to service with 74%. We're working on getting Jack into a pod so that he can have way more same days. Adam Tillman. Guys, Adam, you'll remember from kickoff, was one of our So You Think You Can Sell winners. Adam is hungry. He's a dog. He's going to be buying a lot of real estate after the summer. One of the guys I've loved working with the most, and one of the people who I'm really excited to get ramping up. If I'm not mistaken, this was Adam's first full week on the doors, and he did $16,404 in service revenue. So look out at the top. This guy's chasing it down. One of Adam's keys to success was an $1,172 average contract value, almost $100 more than any other of our top rookies. Nice work, Adam. Adam also had 72 DMs per day. So simply put, he is talking to more people every day, and as a result, he's getting more sales. Nice work, Adam. Jace Louder. Jace with 13,674 and a 100% sales to service ratio. Jace had a day this week where he had over $9,000 in revenue, and he serviced all of it. That's insane. Nice work, Jace. We love it. Josue, I was just knocking with Josue in Richmond, one of the smoothest talkers we've got, 13,000. Leonel, 12,066. This like triple or quadrupled Leonel's best week. We love to see guys getting the hang of it. Leonel, super proud of you, man. Love to see your efforts. I know that you got a chip on your shoulder getting after it. Really, really proud of you, and glad that you're getting the hang of things. Keep it up. Keep the foot on the gas. Jonathan, Jacob Madsen's little brother, 11,762. This guy's only getting better. Ethan Holbrook, 11,749. Caden, 11,404. Nathan Durst, 11,368. Brian, 10,427. Julia, 10,321. Zach Grammer, 10,205. Kyron Magnuson, 10,009. I wanted to read all those names because this is exciting. We had 13 rookie reps over $10,000 last week. Poof. That's like twice as many as we've had any other week previously. So rookies are starting to get the hang of it. And I included a bunch of others that were right there close. Shane, Jordan, Darren, and Eli were all within a few $100s of that ever important $10,000 mark. If you want to be a top rookie this summer, you've got to get over $10,000 in service revenue every single week. And really, if you're going to be at the top of that list, we're going to see our top rookies doing over $20,000 a week here shortly. So ramp up, believe it in your mind first, and then make it happen out there. We've got a lot of people really, really close, and I'm super proud of all of these top rookie reps. Let me see. I had a couple other notes here. Yeah, I got them all. Nice job, guys. Top reps on the week. This is our top 10. Andrew Myers leading the pack with 23,581. Andrew had a 96.3% sales to service ratio. Jeff Hatch, Alexandria, 21,489. Mateo, 21,024. Aiden leading the gigantic Houston squad, still putting on over 20K in revenue. Taylor Clark in San Antonio, or last week in San Antonio. She'll be up in St. Louis this week, $20,000 in revenue. Derek, same boat, same team, 18,196. Vlad moving up to Kansas City this week. So we got a lot of people moving, but sincerely proud of all of our top reps, proud of all the efforts. We love to see the hustle. We have a bunch of guys who are really close to crossing benchmarks as well. For example, I see Connor Geisler's name on here. He'll cross over $100,000 in service revenue within the next day or two as well. So nice work to all of you guys. Now on to teams. So Cleveland 2 took back the throne from Houston this week. Houston, you made an honest effort, but these guys, they put the smack down again. Cleveland has been telling me that they are not going to relinquish that at all this summer. They've been saying they're going to be the top team forever. Somebody, please take them down. Houston, I know you're capable. San Diego is going to be hard to beat down the stretch. Take these guys down. Cleveland 2 with our top team this week. Richmond, 9,643. They were our top team on average, or on per rep average. So almost 10K as an average rep on that team. That means that the average rep on that team will do over $200,000 in revenue this summer if they keep that per rep average up. Nice work, Richmond. That's really, really good. Really, really inspiring. Cleveland 1 with our highest contract value on the week, 1,047. Nice work, Cleveland 1. You're pulling up the average. Fort Lauderdale with our best sales to service ratio, 90.2%. We need everybody to get there. San Diego 2. San Diego South with our average DMs per day, 50.7. Average initial, that's San Diego again. I already shouted them out. I'll do it again. 101 average initial. That's awesome. Having a high average initial means that your other accounts will lock faster, and obviously it helps boost your contract value, and it also makes sure that you're selling legitimate, good customers who are willing to pay for the service. Nice work, San Diego. Percent basic. Alexandria led the way with 8.5%. That means they're really not pitching basic, okay? None of you guys should be pitching basic. Alexandria is making more money on every single account than anyone else. Nice work, Alexandria. Same days, that was our San Antonio West crew, who will now be in St. Louis. They led the pack with 41%. Pretty crazy. They had 30% more than a few of our teams. That's dialed. That's a good job to the team leaders. That's a good job to the Pest Routes efficiency leaders. Nice work. Mosquitoes, Houston leading the pack there with 62% of their accounts having mosquitoes. That helps a ton with contract value. 24-month, Houston also led there with 62% of their accounts on a 24-month agreement. That's residual bonuses for every single team leader, every single rep on that team. Nice work, guys. Average last knock. This is what made Richmond our top RPR team, our top PRA team. Richmond's last knock was at 9:09 p.m., and they had 7 DMs per rep per day after 8 o'clock. They are working way later and way longer than all of our teams. Nice job, Richmond. More is possible. I visited Richmond on Friday, and I was so inspired. Literally, they had guys and girls, Julia, in fact, I think had the last sale, knocking until 10 p.m., hitting up go-backs until 10 p.m. Julia literally sold if I remember right, it was like a 65, 169 at like 10:05 p.m. Mateo, who had that $13,800 in revenue day, he sold like $4,000 in revenue after 8 p.m. just that day. 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30, bang, 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 just hammering them in. If you get hot, stay on the doors, okay? If you guys don't, follow this person on Instagram, but Aubert Lesparence, I may have butchered that name, you won't see him post his daily update on stats until like 9:45 or 10 o'clock. That's because he's working until 9:45 or 10 o'clock. He's still in area when he posts that update. He's going late. That's what it takes to be the best. If you're going to miss work, do it in the morning. Don't do it at night. Night is the best time to knock. Preferably just don't miss. But if you have to take a little breather, if you have to take care of something, do it in the morning. Don't do it at night. After 8 CV. So you can see Richmond had a 478 after 8 o'clock. The next closest team was San Antonio West with 336. So Richmond, on average, produced 1 sale extra per rep over our next best team after 8 o'clock. And that's on the week. That's me timesing that by 6 or 7. So Richmond crushed it this week after 8 o'clock. We love to see it. Super proud of all of our teams. We're seeing a ton of progress. We're seeing a ton of cohesion, people coming together, holding each other accountable. We love it. Aptive Cup was this last week. If your team won the Aptive Cup, you get $15 per rep to go out to dinner or to bankroll for some crazy incentive if you want to stack them up for a few weeks. But enjoy that. Nice work to our winners. You'll have another Aptive Cup match this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you can win 3 of these in a row, that doubles, so you win $30 per rep. If you can win 7 of them in a row, it triples, so $45 per rep. If you can win 10 of them in a row and go undefeated, we'll figure out something sick to hook your team up. But I want to see our teams winning every single week. This is how you prepare for the Aptive Cup. This is how you prepare to win the most important tournament of the year. You work hard now. You get into the habit of holding each other accountable now, of selling big, legitimate, delicious accounts now, of having clean routes, of having same days, of having high ACVs. That all happens now. So work hard together. Hold each other accountable. If you have reps that are not working hard, especially during the Aptive Cup days, call them out and get them on the doors and make sure they're doing their job, because your success depends on each of them. Okay, your team's averages, your team's wins or losses depend on each of them. It's that important. And I really want us to have a culture of winning. I'm reading the book by Tim Grover, Winning Again, and I love how much he talks about how winning is something that is possible for anybody, but most people won't ever truly win because they're not willing to give what it takes. Winning takes sacrifices. Winning takes being just a little bit crazy and doing more than what anyone else would do. My best friend Chandler, one of my favorite things or sayings or I guess, lessons that he taught me, but it's a saying that he would say. He would say, it's only crazy until it's not. Going out and doing door-to-door sales seems crazy to everybody in your circle. Everybody's going to think you're nuts until you come home and you made $60,000. And then it wasn't crazy. It was smart. Okay, Chandler starting a YouTube channel, we all thought he was crazy. We all made fun of him until he crushed it on YouTube and built up a massive subscriber base that then paid him over $250,000 in course sales. Then it wasn't crazy. It was smart. Buying real estate, I distinctly remember. I love my mom. This is not like a dig at her. I'm super close with my mom. But I remember my mom telling me I was crazy for buying real estate at 26 years old until real estate made me a millionaire. And then it was smart. And then it was like, hey, your brothers better start buying real estate when they're 20 and 21. So Andrew and Ryan started buying real estate way sooner than I did. And it was smart. It wasn't crazy. Working until 9:30 at night like Mateo did, that's crazy. Until he has a 14K day. And then we're all like, oh my gosh, it makes sense. I should do that too. It's only crazy until it's not. Be the person to break the mold. Be the person to sacrifice in order to win. Be the person who does extra and your peers say you're a little bit crazy because of how driven, how disciplined, how motivated, how hungry, how ambitious you are. It's only crazy until it's not. Okay, I have a few training tips from things that I've seen on the doors. I've now knocked with reps in Fort Lauderdale. I've knocked with reps in Alexandria. I've knocked with reps in Richmond. I'm going out to Seattle this week. I'm going to San Diego next week, making my way through all the teams. It's been awesome. I've seen a few overarching themes of things that I want to work on. Number one, our reps, you guys are hungry, you're working hard, you're amazing, you could be trained better. And that's on us as the leaders. We've got to take time, we've got to prioritize actual training. It's also on you as the rep because you should be ambitiously seeking out ways to get better. I was just looking at Enzy before this. It's insane how many videos we have on Enzy. If I had to bet, I would bet a lot of money that most of you have not watched every single Enzy video. Most of you have not watched every single Enzy video most times. I did an incentive a couple weeks ago, and it breaks my heart. Okay, I did an incentive to read the training manual and hit 50 DMs a day. A lot of you hit 50 DMs a day. I don't know how many of you read the training manual. Only one person Venmo charged me the $25 from that incentive. Only one. He was on Cleveland. Let me. It's gonna take me too long. Only one person Venmo charged me for that. I'm like, oh, this is a cool incentive. People are going to be motivated. Everybody wants a steak dinner, and it'll help them make more money. Only one person did it. Maybe a lot of you did it, but only one person Venmo charged me. Take your training seriously. I can't do it for you, but I can give you more resources. I can help you. That's my goal. So read the training manual, watch the NZ videos. Here's what I've seen with teams. Okay, our intro is too long in most cases. I follow these rookies on the door, and it's taken them 60 to 90 seconds before they get into the pitch. They're overcoming a smokescreen or two, but then they're staying in the intro way too long. Your intro is an intro. It should take like 15 seconds max, and that includes overcoming smokescreens. Okay, that includes blowing through those smoke screens. And then you're immediately into price. You're immediately into service. You're not hanging out in the intro. Your goal is not to get people to want to buy or to even really understand what it is that you're doing in the intro. Your only goal with the intro is to get people to listen. Then when you price drop, then when you go through the service, you're adding value. You're hitting hot buttons. You're building urgency. You're convincing them that this is something that they should buy. If this job was just to knock and find rollovers, anyone could do it. That's not what this job is. This job is to sell people our service. There's a reason guys like Andrew, guys like John, guys like Jack, guys like Tanner Clayton, people like Danny Webb, people like Easton. Okay, there's a reason they see success every single day. Taylor, Derek. And it's not luck. Okay, it's the fact that they've mastered this craft. They've learned the skill set. And the skill set pays them more when they get good at it. So listen to these guys. I want all of our team leaders recording their pitches more and going through their pitches in the morning meeting, like actual real recordings. If your team leader's not doing that, let me know. I'm going to get after them because I think that's one of the best things that we can do. It's inefficient to shadow. It might take you 3 hours to hear a good pitch when you're shadowing. But if your team leader records 3 or 4 pitches a day and then picks the best one to go through in the morning meeting, you're going to get better from that. Okay? You're going to learn from what they're saying. Guys, I can promise you, our sales reps that are selling at the highest level, they're getting into the pitch. Their intro's brief. They're not camping out in the intro for 90 seconds. They're getting into it. My exact intro when I knock, my exact intro. Hey, how are you? I'm Garrett. I'm out here with Aptive. I do pest control for a whole bunch of the neighbors, John, Susan. There's been about 15 of us. Everybody is getting the ants, and obviously come summertime, the wasps are terrible. Now what it is, boom, into the pitch. Don't over-explain. Don't expect them to show interest. Don't delay. Don't pause and feel them out if they're interested or not. No, jump into it. Get into the service, get into price, build value, preface, feature, benefit, ace, close. Boom, all day. Brief intros. Have a good, strong preface. I've seen Ryan talk about this. I've heard Mark talk about it. All of our leaders are noticing it. We need to be way better at creating the problem. That's when you're going through the pitch, the service part of the pitch. It's also when you're resolve ace closing. Okay, remember with every ace, you need a preface, a feature, and a benefit. And if you haven't heard these terms, read the training manual. It's all in there. The preface is when you create the problem. It's when you give the customer something to care about. One of the reps that I knocked with this last week, they had a beautiful pitch. They had this person listening, interested. All of a sudden, the rep, gets a no, like, oh, we're just, let me think about it. Give me a card. Sales rep does a great job overcoming that objection. Sure, and the only reason I'm out here, I have a couple spots to fill. I'm doing it for a great deal, just to make sure you're on board. I noticed you guys have a deck out back. Customer's like, yeah. Sales rep goes, I'm going to have my service pro when he's out here sweep down that deck. It'll look really good for you. Do a good job there. Are you going to be home tomorrow? Is morning or afternoon better? Customer showed no interest. The ace carried no value because the customer didn't care about the deck because there was no preface. There was no problem created. I step in and I say, hey, I'm Garrett. Nice to meet you. I've been with the company forever. I think what Johnny means about the deck, you know how back there everybody gets wasps. They get terrible in the summertime, and they hang out right underneath that deck. There's one of those decks off the second story. And they hang out right underneath that deck, and probably anytime you're barbecuing, anytime you're out there playing with the kids, those wasps are dive bombing you guys and driving you nuts. And the customer all of a sudden is like, oh, yeah. I go, we're going to come out. We're going to sweep that down. We're going to put a repellent up there. The wasps leave a bad pheromone. We're going to break that up so they don't come back. We're going to keep them away from the deck. That way you can enjoy your deck this summertime. Now, are you guys going to be here tomorrow? All of a sudden, the customer's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I hate those wasps. And they buy. Okay, they wouldn't have bought because they didn't believe they had a problem. All of a sudden, I created the problem and they bought. It's as easy as that. Spend time creating the problem. Preface, feature, benefit. You need to create the problem throughout the pitch. We need to be way better at creating the problem. There was one thing that I saw with all of my knocking, all of the reps that I've worked with, it was a lack of really creating the problem when they go through the sale. So create the problem with the customer. Read about that in the training manual. Watch the videos on Enzy. Ask your team leader to show you how they do it. It will help you get more sales. Tension questions. Okay, this is kind of like a pro tip. So if you've only knocked for 2 weeks, or if you're only averaging one a day, maybe this isn't a tip for you. But if you're a sales rep who's getting the hang of it, you're averaging 2 or 3 a day, you're getting close on a lot of them and you just can't quite close them. This is a great way to level up your sales game. So when you are at the end of the pitch and you've pushed through 3 or 4 resolve ace closes, it gets a little awkward. Okay, you can feel it. You're like, I had them interested, but they're starting to get frustrated with me. But I know that they were close, and I just need a couple more rounds before I can get them. Okay, I call that a loop. So the round, I call it a loop. The resolve ace close, where you build up buying temperature, you preface, feature, benefit, you close them, they say no, that's a loop. Then you overcome that no, you give them another gigantic ace or maybe a price drop, you close them again, they say no, that's a loop. So you've been through 3 or 4 loops, and then the tension starts to rise. Okay, and you're like, man, I've had them close, but I just can't quite get them yet. And if I keep pushing, they're going to get pissed, and they're going to chew me out, and I'm going to lose the sale. So I call it a tension question. Drop the iPad, look them in the eyes, give them a big smile, and just make small talk for 15 to 30 seconds. Don't do it for longer than that, because if you do it for longer than that, the buying temperature will really drop, and it'll be awkward to get back into the pitch. But if you drop the iPad and you humanize the process for 15 to 30 seconds, it'll help you build rapport back with that customer, and it will ease the tension of the pitch. I call it a tension question. After you've eased the tension, you can bring back up the iPad, and you can use whatever question you just asked to go through 1, 2, 3 more loops. And you can do that 5 times. You could stay on a door forever if you wanted with tension questions and then loops. So what is an example of a tension question? Okay, I've been through 3 or 4 rounds. They've said no. the tension's starting to rise, I'll drop the iPad and I'll just say something like, man, have you noticed how hot it's been these last couple days? And they'll be like, oh yeah, it's been terrible. I'm not from here. I'm from Idaho. We don't get a lot of heat. This is melting me. It's insane. Are you from here? Yeah, born and raised. Is it always as hot here? Yeah, always. Man, that's crazy. Well, one more offer. Another thing I could do. Boom, back into it. Okay, another example of a tension question. You drop the iPad, look him in the eyes, give him a big smile. Well, I know you guys have been here for a little bit. How long have you lived in the neighborhood? Has it been a long time? 15 years. That's crazy. Where'd you guys live before that? That's super cool. I love that area too. Well, just to make sure you're getting the best service, here's what I can do. Boom, back into it. Okay, just humanize the process for 30 seconds. It'll help you stay longer in the pitch. And especially with switchovers, that's the key to getting more sales. With switchovers, if you can go through 1, 2, 3 more loops past the point of tension, you'll close a ton of those sales. I don't use any sincerity closes until after I've had to use a couple tension questions. Save your sincerity closes. It's hard to come back from a sincerity close if you use them too early. Don't use sincerity closes too early. Tension questions. Okay. I am going to end on this. 2 thoughts. One thought, first one, this is a training one. You should be recording your pitch consistently. You should be listening to it at night. You should be going through it with your team leader. You should be going through it with other reps in your department. Get feedback on it and get better. And even more than going through it with other people, listen to it, okay? Figure out what you can do a little bit better. I'm happy to go through as many of those as I can. That's what I love to do when I come out to area and visit the teams. I love to go through pitches. So I'll come out and visit you. And if you've got some good recordings, great. We'll go through them. And that will help you more than anything else. Again, shadowing, as amazing and fun as it is, it's incredibly inefficient. I knocked with N3 in Richmond, total stud. One of our top rookies. In fact, I believe he was the number 2 rookie for the month of April. I could tell N3 is dialed. I could hear it in his pitch, but we had like 0 really true decision makers that we talked to in like an hour. And it was frustrating for him. It's a bummer for me because I was hoping to give him some good feedback, but I couldn't because we didn't talk to any. So if you guys will record your pitches, I can give you actual good feedback in rapid time. And it's the same for Mark. It's the same for Ryan. It's the same for Andrew. It's the same for Tanner. It's the same for Gideon. Like, all of us can help you guys a ton if you'll record these pitches and then ask us specific questions. Another thing though, I have reps send me like a 20-minute pitch. I would love to listen to a 20-minute pitch, but I can't. Okay, I can't with how many texts and calls and meetings and things. I can't. But if you'll send me like a 60 or 120 second clip of like, hey, here's what I think I did wrong in this situation. What would you do differently? That's really easy for me to dissect and give you some feedback on it. And to be honest, I think the more that we build that culture within our partnership, the better our reps will be trained, the better all of us will do. We'll see our prep average bump up to 7,500. We'll see our revenue per week get up to that $2 million mark that is just so insane that we're going to hit. We'll see our numbers go through the roof. So a culture of training, a culture of excellence, an elite culture. We're getting there. We've got work to do, but we're getting there. And I'm really proud of all of us. Big part of us taking the next step is conscientiously spending more time on training. Part of that is the manual, part of that is those NZ videos, and a big part of that is these recorded pitches. So record your pitches. Team leaders, I want you guys recording your pitches and going through them in morning meetings. If your team leader doesn't do that, let me know. I'll get on them. And my final thought, this is a motivational thought. If you guys knocked here last year, you heard me say this 500 million times. I'm resurrecting it, bringing it back for summer 2024 because it's so good. You guys are going to hear me talk about this more in future podcasts. I'll talk about it when I visit your teams, and I'll probably talk about it every single time that you talk to me. And that is the principle of consistency over intensity. So Mateo is someone who got a lot of shout outs this week. Mateo had a 13K day, 13,800. That would not be that special if he only sold, one account every other day for the rest of the week. Okay, the 13K day is only incredibly special because he also worked hard and did well the other days of the week. In fact, he ended up with over $35,000 in sold revenue. Intensity is common. Consistency is rare. There are a lot of door-to-door sales reps. There are a lot of people who can have intense outbursts in this job. Okay, rookies who have 1 week where it's like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? That was insane. Who have 1 day where it's like, oh my gosh, you broke the record. Like, that was an insane day. Intensity is common. There's a lot of people who can pop off. What's rare is consistency. Being able to have great days every single day for 100 to 150 days in a row. One of my favorite examples of this, my brother Andrew Myers, not last summer, I think it was 3 summers ago. He was one of our very top sales reps, but the guy didn't have a single 10K day all summer. In fact, I think he was our top sales rep. He didn't have a single 10K day all summer. You know how many reps we had have 10K days? How many rookies we had have 10K days? We had dozens. Okay, dozens. Andrew beat them all because he was consistent. Intensity is common. Consistency is rare. The rookie who takes number 1 this year will not be the rookie who was the most capable of big days. It will be the rookie who was most capable of big days consistently over the entire summer. Jack may be our top rookie. Maybe he won't be. Okay? He only will be if he can repeat what he did last week again this week. Adam, who I also gave a shout out to, Adam might be our top rookie this summer. He might not be. If it was a flash in the pan and it was his only good week on the summer, then it won't be that cool. It was one intense week. It was one great shot at success. But if he can do that every week, that's special. Ethan Holbrook, I think Ethan's our number 2 rookie right now. If Ethan can consistently do what he's done for the longest period of time, he'll win. Okay? Intensity is common. Consistency is rare. Be consistent. That's what will take you places in this job. I think, not to like blow smoke up my own chimney or toot my own horn, I think my life, my path at Aptive, my career here is the perfect example of consistency being rare and intensity being common. I've never had a year where I've just popped off and everybody in the company's talked about how many I recruited and how insane I blew up or I grew. I've never had that happen. In fact, this year might be the greatest example of that. We've really crushed it so far this year. But every year I've gotten better. Okay, every single year we've improved. Every single year we've had slightly more reps. Every single year we've had slightly higher contract value, slightly better service to sales ratio, slightly more DMs every day. Every single year. I've never been the greatest recruiter in the world, but I've shown up every day for 10 and a half years to do my best. I've answered every text that I can for 10 and a half years. I've answered every call that I can for 10 and a half years. I don't think I'm the best trainer. I don't think I'm the most hype when I come out and visit teams, but I've done it every day for 10 years and I never shirk that responsibility. It's like the most important characteristic to me. Stay consistent. Okay? I was gone for almost 2 weeks straight. I leave again on Wednesday. And I'm in the office until it's almost 8 o'clock here. I got here at like 9 a.m. I'm consistent. I'm going to keep showing up. That's what I want from you guys too. If you can be intense and consistent, you're going to the top. It's amazing. But if you can just be consistent, you're going to make it. Might take a month, might take 2 months, might take 3, might take 2 years, might take 3 years. It's okay. You're going to get there. You're getting better and better every day. It's like the little engine that could. Okay, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Consistent effort. It's like the tortoise and the hare. The hare was intense. He was really fast. It was inspiring. It was cool. It was fun. But the tortoise won because he was consistent. Okay? Be consistent. Intensity is common. Consistency is rare. Don't go all out and then not work hard the next day. You wasted your hard work if you do that. Go hard every single day for the entire summer. I love this group. I love consistency. I love the fact that we almost had 1,000 ACV last week, and it gives us a little bit of hunger to get it up this week. I love the fact that we did $1.5 million in revenue, and that's still not enough. We're still ramping up. I love the fact that we have 18 weeks left in the summer to continue to improve, continue to get better, continue to crush it. I love the fact that we have so much meat left on the bone with our sales to service ratio and our same days, because I know that's going to help all of us dramatically. I love everything that we're doing. This crew is amazing. This crew is dynamic, and we are going to win big. I'm willing to make sacrifices to be a winner. I know each of you is as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this was meaningful. I hope this was good. I love you guys. Let's get after it, and deuces.